Hello everybody, I hope you all are doing well. I'm just going to say a prayer and then I'm going to get into something a little bit different today. I've had some pretty strange dreams and I'd like to do some readings on those and see what we come up with. Okay, so I'll explain it all after our prayer. O cosmic divinity of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our beings and carve out within us a space where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission, so that we bear fruit in accordance with our desires. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and to share what each being needs to grow and to flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us, as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which will divert us from our true purpose, and illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground, the fruitful vision, the birth of power and fulfillment, as all are gathered and made whole once again. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. And I'm just going to do a quick protection prayer while we do this. Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of lower frequencies, evil entities, and the devil. May God rebuke them, I humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of Heavenly Host, by the divine power, thrust into hell Satan and all evil entities who prowl about the earth, seeking the ruin of souls. It is done, it is done, it is done. Okay, so the dreams that I have, I'm going to actually just shuffle while I talk about this. The dreams that I have had lately are a little strange. So I had one dream where I was sort of hearing a story about something, and then in my other dream, I lived that story out, okay? So the story is basically, I'm being told about this society of vampires and other worldly creatures that congregate regularly, and there's one specific place in the place where I am living that they go to. And I go to this place and actually no, sorry, before I go to this place, I start getting surrounded with these very strange energies. These people who just don't seem quite right. And I don't know what's happening. And I started to find that whenever I breathe on them, so if I blow my breath on them or they touch my breath, they would, like, their faces would start to crack, and they would grow very bright, like almost like lava. Do you know what I mean? Like their faces would go sort of dark, and then there would be these cracks in their face, and it looked like fire underneath. And then all of a sudden, they would just disintegrate into dust, or ash, as it were. And it only seems to work on these demonic people, people who are bad. Now, when I went to this place, I was brought to this place by someone who spotted me. And I think I can't remember how they decided to bring me to this place, but they did. And when I got there, I sensed that there were good and bad people there. There were, for lack of a better way of putting it, there were good vampires who were there simply to congregate with others of their kind. And then there was very sort of demonic, very evil vampires and other, I guess you could say, entities that were either possessed or had some sort of otherworldly gifts, I guess you could say. And some of them were quite evil. And as I started to discover more and more that I had this power, I started to breathe this, I started to breathe a lot, like I was blowing a lot of, blowing a lot on basically everyone who came near me, because I didn't want, I was just basically trying to rid this world of its evil, you know. And I was also doing it to protect myself, because as soon as people, they saw me, I became immediately a target, for good reason, I suppose, right? And I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to start, you know, a mission and try and get rid of all this evil, because there's, like I said, I've heard this a million times, and I truly believe it. There's good and bad in everything. There's good and bad, um, there's good and bad witches, there's good and bad men, there's good and bad women, there's good and bad, you know, in every religion, there's good and bad in every place, there's good and bad in everything and in everyone, in every entity, in every alien, whatever you want to call it. I don't think any one group of people should be painted by the same brush, right? I mean, that in fact actually is what, oh my God, really? I can't remember the word right now. That's what prejudice is painting an entire population of people with one brush based on the actions of a few, or even the majority, because there's still going to be a minority that aren't with the majority. Do you see what I'm saying? Anyhow, as they started to discover that I had this ability, they started to come after me. And because I had heard the story before in a previous dream, I knew where to go to escape. And I went through these tunnels. I escaped through these tunnels. And the tunnels, there was, okay, so the tunnels are like this, and there was doors all along this tunnel, and there was like people coming out in and out of the tunnels, and I didn't know who they were, but I was hiding from them. And I escaped out a door that led to outside, and there was like these rocks, and it was like almost like I was on this in the side of a mountain. And then I decided to, at some point in time or another, go back to this place, and I'm not sure why. And again, I was just blowing blowing my breath on everyone. And like I said, the people who were, you know, bad, they melted away, and the people who didn't. And again, they began to come after me. So again, I ran, and I went through the tunnels, and this time I was caught by one of the people going in and out of the doors. They grabbed me, brought me into their home, laid me in a bed, covered me in a blanket, put a hat on me, and then almost immediately there was a knock at the door. And it was these people from the vampire club who were looking for me. And they said, no, we haven't seen her, we don't know. They were like, oh, who's that in the bed? And they were like, oh, it's our grandma, she's down visiting, something like that, right? And I was surprised and shocked that the people who literally lived on the premises were helping me. And instead of putting me back out in the tunnel, they were afraid that the tunnel was now going to be monitored. They let me out their door. And again, I was out the side of some mountain or something. Anyway, a lady saw me, and she immediately knew that I had some sort of gift, and she grabbed me, and she took me with her somewhere. I don't know where in the heck we went, but it almost seemed like a beach house, like it was all wooden. And she was bringing me up these stairs, and then there was like, we went through this sort of little catwalk beside two sort of houses, I guess you could say, or cottages. And there was another set of stairs on the other side. And that's when I saw this little girl. And she was a beautiful, very innocent looking little girl, but something was off. And I blew my breath at her, and she became this hideous demon that, turned to ash. And people there were furious with me, and I woke up from the dream about, I think it was just after that happened, and I didn't understand it. And then something occurred to me, and I thought, okay, so when we discovered the real name of Jesus, the prophet, it's Yahuwah, right? And when you listen to, we found out that when you listen to the heart beating, and all the blood going through the ventricles, it sounds like Yah, ah, Yah, ah, which is the name Yahuwah. And it says in the Bible something about his name being the breath of life. And when you take your first breath, that's when you're taking your breath of life. That's when you become a truly connected soul. That's when you come into your body, as it were. And I still don't quite know what it means, though. And it seems like in every single dream that I have where there are these demonic presences, I'm either killing them with my words, like I'm speaking some sort of incantation or a Bible verse, or I'm breathing on them or blowing on them. And it occurred to me how powerful our words are. And that's when I sort of started going through this quantum physics thing, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, well, I guess so, because, we've already proven that words can affect water. It literally changes the makeup of the molecules of water. We can literally purify water by meditating, thankfulness and love onto the water, right? Now, it takes highly practiced meditation and people who can really, really direct their thoughts for long periods of time. I think they said it was like up to, an hour. I can't remember how long it was. But if we can do that just with our breath, just with our thoughts, just with our words, then we really need to be more mindful about the things that we say. And even though I've known this for a long time and I've said it time and time again, it just sort of reiterated how important that is, and how important our beings are, and how powerful we are. We're a lot more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. But I still didn't fully understand what it meant until I started thinking about energy vampires. And it was crazy because I was just surrounded by them. It was like they were attracted to me. And it was the weirdest thing. And I'm not really entirely sure what the dream meant. But I decided I wanted to do a reading on it. So, yeah, that's how that goes. Anyway, if anybody has any ideas about how to interpret that, please let me know. I'm constantly having dreams where there are demons in my dreams, and I'm never scared. It's strange because most people would consider that a nightmare. I don't, because I don't feel any fear in the dream. I just wake up and I'm like, oh, that was interesting. But I'm constantly having dreams where there's these entities, these evil entities who are coming after me, archons, demons, whatever you want to call them. They're always coming after me, but they can never touch me. They can never get near me. And I'm always either rebuking them, casting them out, and they're always, they're ended somehow, right? There's only been one dream where I didn't kill the demon, and I was walking along a riverbank, and it was just after I had a vision of a man unaliving a couple of teenagers, and he was pouring concrete over top of them. He was on or under some kind of boardwalk, and it's a very specific dream. It was very real. I feel like I was there. It was a man this arrow, like, pointed down kind of nose. He had sort of stringy hair that was, just to his shoulders. It was dark brown. He had very sort of small, close together eyes, sort of a 5 o'clock shadow. He was wearing what looked like a janitor's uniform or a groundskeeper's uniform. He had an embroidered name tag, okay? So it was like literally embroidered. Anyway, and he was burying these teenagers. There was 3 there, but I could only see one. I could only see the face of one of them, and he was strawberry blonde, and he had braces. He was wearing a basketball jersey, and he was holding on to this mesh screen, this like mesh screen that was on top of him, and there was concrete being poured on top of him. And then when I looked around, there was, like I said, there was this boardwalk, there was a river, and there was this sort of like island. Maybe it was a lake, but there was this island, and then there was like maybe a river, because of the fact that it was running alongside this island, or maybe it was just another piece of land, I'm not sure. But on the island there was this creature, and it looked like a demon. Excuse me, it looked like some sort of woodland demon. I don't know how else to describe it. Horns and the hooves and the whole nine. And in my mind I heard, don't look at it and don't show any fear, and walk to where you need to get to. Just walk, just go, ignore it, don't show it any fear, don't acknowledge it. And so I turned and I began to walk, and I didn't acknowledge it. I just kept saying the Lord's Prayer over and over and over in my head as I walked. And then I got to this like town square kind of place. It was like a center. It was like a building. Anyway, and there was this redhead with long straight hair, and then this female sheriff, and I was telling them about what I had seen. Anyway, that's the and the demon came to me, and it tried to come around me, and it was like all around me, and it was trying to get my attention and say things and doing things, but I didn't respond to it, and it just went away. It went away and it disappeared, and I was sort of like successful. And that's the only dream I've had where the demon didn't literally die, right? So if anybody has any idea what in the hell these dreams mean, please let me know, because I'm not terribly sure. But I do know one thing for sure. There are a lot of people out there who are feeding off the energy of other people. And I feel like there's a lot of witchcraft being done, especially at this time in the world right now. And it's not, just me. Of course, there's hundreds of millions. I don't know how many. But anyway, lots and lots of people are experiencing this, and I feel like it's happening a lot to people who are gifted, or people who have a special connection to Creator, most especially the indigenous populations. And I just want people to be aware of that, cognizant of the fact that they need to protect themselves. They need to do whatever your beliefs require you to do to protect your energy and to call it back to yourself, okay? So anyways, I am shuffling the Chosen Ones deck right now, and I've already pulled some cards, as you can see. And I'm pulling these cards to find out more about this dream, and to find out more about what is going on, or what this dream is trying to tell me, okay? So we have Judgment Day for your enemies. So, I was killing them in my dreams, so maybe that's symbolic of the fact that it's Judgment Day. These people are going down, they're going to disappear, or something is going to happen to them. There's some sort of thing happening now. Rebirth for me, can often represent death because of the fact that you are leaving the earthly plane in this body, and I firmly believe in reincarnation, and then being reborn into another body. It can also mean a spiritual awakening, okay? So someone is, I don't believe that this message is just for me, which is why I'm doing this. So I feel like someone is surrounded or has been surrounded in the past by very energy sucking personalities, okay? People who have been either doing literal spell work to live off of people's energy, or they are very narcissistic and toxic, and that in and of itself can be very, very draining to a person's energy. That's why it's so important that you surround yourself with good, positive-minded people, okay? So we have Judgment Day for your enemies. So things are happening right now where your enemies are going to be receiving karma for what they've done to you. So whatever it is that they have wished upon you is now going to be turning around and happening to them. It's time to shine. And that's why your enemies are going to be getting karma, because it is time for you to step into your purpose. And you may already be in your purpose, and maybe Spirit is saying, okay, you've been in your purpose, but it's not been, what's the word? I don't want to use the word successful, because being in your purpose isn't measured by success, but maybe it's you're being blocked somehow. Maybe you're not fully in your purpose as much as you could be, or maybe you have gifts that you're still unaware of, or maybe your gifts aren't as strong as they could be because you have these negative attachments in your life, and these negative attachments in your life are now about to be released from your person and your energy. So you are about to be freed from these blockages, okay? So someone here is going to be stepping into their shamanic energy, and that just means that you are a healer, and you could be a healer, like physically healing people, or you could be someone who heals people with their words. For me, I feel like it's more of a word thing, because I first of all, I went to school and took counseling. I studied psychology for years. I'm very good at helping people with emotional issues. I mean, not always. I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be perfect. But it tends to be a talent of mine. People often have come to me with their problems, strangers even. Um, I don't know why, but it happens. It happens all the time. It's always happened. And I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people to feel better about themselves. I enjoy building people's self-esteem. I enjoy helping people overcome their psychological blockages, I guess you could say, and spiritual blockages as well. Okay, so I might be speaking to a tarot reader, and maybe your channel hasn't been expanding as quickly as you would like it to, or maybe there's, like I said, there could be multiple blockages happening in your life right now that have been caused by people who have purposefully or otherwise been blocking your success, and this is about to be removed from your life, because again, we have Judgment Day for your enemies. And look at what I just saw on the bottom of the deck here. You have a big mission on earth. That's why these blockages are being removed. That's why God is doing this for you, okay? Mother and Father God are removing these blockages because you have a very, very big mission, okay? And I'm not sure what that mission is. I couldn't actually tell you. But, oh wow, the very next card is Jesus Descendant. Okay, so you're meant to teach, which explains the shamanic and the healing. You're going to teach people how to deal probably with their emotions, because the dreams that I had were all about breath. So breathing and speaking, they're all about breathing and speaking. So it's about healing people with your mouth, literally. So you're speaking life into people. You're